Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tactical Insight Show. It is the morning after Derby Day. It's Graham's favourite topic. It's Tottenham Hotspur. We're going to talk all about it. I'm sure he's got a few jokes. I'm sure he's got plenty to say. And it's our first show of the calendar year, and it's great to have you back, Graham.
Yeah, thank you, James. And you know me, there's no better feeling than waking up the day after a North London derby win, is there?
No.
But the reality is, for Tottenham Hotspur fans waking up today, it's now 32 North London derbies since you last won a trophy, 66 North London derbies since you last won an FA Cup, and 124 North London derbies since you last won a league title. And the reality is, for Tottenham fans, is that your goalkeeper has now scored more goals in the Premier League campaign than Richarlison, who is your marquee summer signing. So that's the first thing I wanted to say today. But, you know, jokes aside, James, I think Tottenham Hotspur are not probably the strongest team in the Prem at the moment, far from it. But I think this was a real test for Arsenal on Sunday, and a real test for Mikel Arteta, which we came through in flying colours. The reason I say that was because we went to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last year and lost 3-0 when we had top four on the line, and ultimately that absolutely ended our chances really of top four. Yep. Although we did obviously go and lose at Newcastle, but that was a big moment, I thought, in the campaign last year to lose to them. So to go back there and put that right, to play so comprehensively well, to outplay them the way we did, yep, with quality football in the first half, superior. The golfing class was very evident in that first half. Arsenal were playing through the lines, playing forward, and we're going to touch tactically on the way we played around their pivot today, which I thought was a big key part of the game. But then when we had to, second half, we dug in, and that's what all teams that challenge for league titles do. I thought we were very resolute defensively in the second half. It was all about control, winning your duels, coming out of collisions and being compact. And I thought second half, apart from that first 15 minutes where we knew they were going to come at us, we defended very well. And we protected Aaron Ramsdale really well this season, James. But when he was called upon on Sunday, he made the big saves. 7 saves out of the 7 shots he faced. An XG of 2.41 against him. And he kept a clean sheet, and I thought he was man of the match. But overall, this was a real statement win for Arsenal. Which on the back of what happened with Mudryk on the Saturday night, sort of like, which could have compounded the whole issue, we ended up sort of coming out the weekend really well. Yeah,
I completely agree. Let's waste no time and go straight into the match stats. Don't you love it when the ball takes a second to work? There we go. The match stats. And you actually said before recording that these surprised you a little bit, and they did me too. You know, they had more shots on target. Now, the XG obviously depends where you take it from. I mean, you rightly said that stat.
I was looking last night trying to find the XG of some of the websites, and there was different XGs.
Exactly.
They all measured. One was 2.4 and all the rest of it for us, and it was less for them. But that was the most common XG I found.
Yeah, fair enough. Possession, they slightly edged it. More shots on target, slightly better XG. But I don't think that tells the story of the game. I think what does is looking at some of these attacking stat numbers that you've showed us.
Yeah, and I think this was the key stats for me. We had more final third entries, more deep touches, more zone 14 touches, which I think was a very significant stat, James, because we're going to talk about today. I thought Arsenal played more through the centre of the pitch yesterday.
I agree.
And we did that because of the way Tottenham set up, and the field tilt massively in our favour as well.
Yeah, completely agree. Let's have a look at some of the defensive numbers. Here we go. Again, you know, tackle success rate, decent on both sides. Interceptions, clearances. But again, this is the big one.
Yeah, this is the big one. Passes per defensive action, which is the number of passes you allow before you to the opposition before you engage. Look at our difference between there and then. And I think this was key actually in the game, because I thought the way Tottenham started the game, James, they sat off us. They sat off us in a 5-4-1. And they weren't pressing us at the start like you'd expect them to. They are the home team. And it says a lot about where they are as a football club at the moment, is the mentality of the team to go into that game with a very defensive shape in a 5-4-1. And I think Harry Kane, who really is very good pressing, I think he was very half-heartedly pressing, because Son and Kulusevski were literally sitting back in a 4 with the two holding midfielders. He played 2 holding midfielders at home in front of a back 3. And you had the back 5, you had the 2 holding midfielders. Son and Kulusevski, at the start I thought were wider, and then when we started to play through the lines, I think Conte made an adjustment, they came closer. But the moment he did that, Arteta then told the team to start switching it out to the wings to get our wingers, Saka and Martinelli, one-on-one with their wing-back. So whatever way Tottenham did, I think Arteta tactically outdid Conte.
Well, I think shape, systems, formation, all that is a big part of this game. You know, we often go into numbers and we talk about what certain players did in certain roles, but I think the general approach from both managers is a massive part of why the game went the way it did. So I'm going to offer you the chance, Graham. Would you like to start with our pressing shape, or would you like to start with our shape on the ball? What would you
I think
like
I'll start with the pressing. I think we set the tone, James, really early on with the press.
Yeah, let's talk about then sort of when the goalkeeper had the ball.
And this was evident very early on when Lloris got the ball right at the start of the game, and Eddie Nketiah chases him down, and he gives a very loose touch, and he loses it, and ultimately it nearly cost them. I thought our press at the start was really aggressive. We had our front four players.
Is this the shape went from a goal kick then?
This is the shape you've got here is actually our shape when we're pressing from a goal kick. I want you to show the press from the other press.
Let's show the other one first.
The other press
Let's
first.
go from Arsenal's aggressive early press. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was a key right at the start of the game. As I said, Eddie chasing down Lloris. And I think we pressed in a front four at the top of at the start of the game.
That being Nketiah, Saka, Odegaard.
So we were all over him at when the ball was in play and they played it back to Lloris. Lloris, I think we identified as someone who's not great kicking out, and I think we saw it in the game. He's not great comfortable on the ball like Ramsdale is, for example. And it was a tale of two goalkeepers actually, I thought. But at the start of this game, I thought we definitely targeted Lloris as much as we targeted their vulnerability with their double pivot. And I thought you saw it right at the start where we nearly scored when Eddie had a shot stopped by Lloris. It all came from that aggressive forward press. You notice that Saka has pushed up off his wing back onto Langley. Odegaard is on Dyer. Martinelli is on Romero. And Eddie has pressed the keeper, forced the error, and we nearly scored from it. I thought we were really aggressive at the start. We went from the start. And the early aggressive press, I thought, set the tone. That's when the ball was in play or they played it back to him. But then we had the other press, James, which I wanted to talk about, which is the way we pressed man for man from goal kicks, which again, I thought was key in the game because Tottenham, it forced Tottenham to go long all the time. And when you've got like the way Conte's set up, with just five at the back and four in midfield and Kane up on his own, Saliba took care of Kane all day. He was in his pocket virtually the whole game. So when you're going long looking for Kane, even if he wins it, he's got nobody really to play it to, he's trying to hold it up, hoping people can get up to support him, but they're back in a defensive line. And it all come again, I think, because of the way we pressed man-to-man off the ball. If you look at the slight difference here, Odegaard, Nketiah and Martinelli are front three pressing there against their three. This is from a goal kick. So you'd have Romero going out to one side of the box, Langley going out to the other side. Odegaard will be looking to press onto Langley. Martinelli will be looking to press on to Romero. And Nketiah is looking to press on to Dyer. Saka now and Zinchenko, their task is to like stop them playing out to the wing back. So Saka was on Sessegnon and Zinchenko was on Doherty. Xhaka on Højbjerg and Partey on Sarr. And then you've got White taking care of Song. Gabriel would push out toward Kulusevski if the ball went to him. Saliba and Kane. It was man-to-man. So I thought our press was so well organised by Arteta. That was the off-the-ball Arsenal worked really well against Spurs on Sunday.
You know what I found really fascinating, and I learned something in that game? Rob Holding got sent off in the last derby.
Yeah.
Because we did a lot of this. We did exactly what you just said, man for man. We did a lot of let's just go into those battles and try to win the ball early. Now, this isn't to have a pop at Rob Holding, but I felt William Saliba, and you can use even the other graphic we showed before, you know, William Saliba, either on Kane, but also when the game kind of shifted, and Saliba would then have to come across and deal with Son sometimes, because as you said, everything would move along. He was winning those battles and he was following them all over the pitch. But he was really stuck in, and he was winning that, but he wouldn't let them out. And I felt the way Arteta trusted his players to win their man-for-man battles was a massive part of why the press worked, because otherwise you lose. And if you don't do that, or if you don't win your individual battles, the press completely collapses.
Yeah, and I think the other key point to make on that, though, James, is that last year, who we had in those positions, Holding was playing on, they targeted that side last year because Cedric was a right back and Holding was a centre-back, and Song was obviously able to, I think they were more looking to get forward more because of that, because they had the weakness on our side. This season, Ben White has shut down Song now in 2 consecutive North London derbies, and I don't think I can pay him as much any more credit to say that we talk about what he does offers as an outlet going forward, the way he combines up high. And there was examples on Sunday where he was getting in here, and if I just put him in there, move him on.
Nice.
And he was finding Saka making this out to in run in here,
Mm-hmm.
or he would go on, just move him out wide.
Mm-hmm.
So he was either going on outside or playing the ball into Saka.
Mm-hmm.
So he was really good. But what he was good at Sunday as well is keeping Song quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Song, apart from a few instances where Song was dropping deep, allowing the wing back to run in behind him. That's how they nearly equalised, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that one moment, I thought White had Song defensively in his pocket all game. But the difference, I would say, between this season and last season, if you can move White back for me there, was that White and Saliba are a better combination.
Yeah.
Very good on recovery,
Than
Saliba.
Cedric and Holding.
Than Cedric and Holding. The difference in class.
Yeah. Let's have a look at Arsenal's shape in possession. And one of the things you really want to focus on was this diamond. You mentioned it a lot before in previous shows, and again, it played a part in the win.
Yeah, and you are right. I've talked about this diamond quite a lot this season. Normally, Gabriel Jesus is really good at dropping in here at the top of that diamond. Partey is at the base, and then you've got Odegaard and Xhaka either side. Tottenham's problems, I think, in this game was, I think Arteta targeted their double pivot. Mm-hmm. We were playing around them very early on, very comfortably.
Sarr and Højbjerg, yeah?
Yeah, Højbjerg and Sarr. So they had like 2 against 4 a lot of the time. Partey was receiving the ball, and he was receiving the ball a lot, and I know you want to talk about that, the way he wasn't really pressed, and he was able to sort of direct operations from deep. But he's at the base of the diamond, Nketiah's dropping in at the top, Odegaard and Xhaka either side of there too. That's a 4v2, and that's how we played around it. But there was the other tactic that Arteta used in the game, which you're going to show on the screen, which is another 4v2 sort of situation we created in this match. And that would be when Zinchenko becomes inverted. So now you've got like Partey and Zinchenko. There's their 2 again. And then you've got Xhaka and Odegaard either side of those 2. There's another 4v2 sort of situation. There was sort of like times in the way we played out, we played through them very comfortably because we were able to play around. What I thought then Conte did in this game, if you highlight the 4 there, the 4v2. The 4v2 in the diamond and the 4v2 here, the way it's set up. So what I thought he did, Conte, was he adjusted in the game. Song and Kulusevski, who were more out wide in the 4, now came inside to make it a bit more narrow because they were conscious of the fact that we were playing around them. That then enabled us, I thought, really well to use our wide players and get Saka one-on-one with Sessegnon and Martinelli one-on-one with Doherty, who I don't think those 2 players are great defenders. They might be good going forward. I certainly think Perisic was a big miss for them on that side. But this, again, the moment that Conte adjusted, Arteta then was instructing his team, I thought, to play out wide. And that's where we started having joy as that first half went on that right-hand side. Odegaard and Saka combined a lot, and it led to our 2 goals, James.
I think, and you mentioned that midfield, and rightly so, I think that's ultimately when the ball, where it's all won and lost. And I think this player here, Thomas Partey, I think the lack of plan and the lack of intensity they showed to try and stop Partey playing football is criminal. It's absolutely criminal from a Tottenham perspective because you even see, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. You see Arsenal fans say, if we lose Thomas Partey, the level drops. Why do we say that? Because he's so crucial in possession, defensively, everything. And I think their lack of press, because these 2 did not try and stop Thomas Partey or Zinchenko that much. Harry Kane didn't drop in to try and stop Thomas Partey that much. There was a moment in the game where I saw Partey just on the ball, sort of head up, where am I going to go? Where should I pass it? Where should I go? Kane's just sort of jogging. And it might be instruction. I'm not ruining the TV. I'm not even having a go at Harry Kane here. It might be instruction. Don't press, wait for the ball to fall, wait for the counter, whatever. But they made no attempt really to stop him, certainly in the first half. Second half, okay, they had more joy. But let's have a little look at the Lloris own goal. Where is it? So, here it is. Now, what you can't see here, actually, you can if I just do this. What you can't see is Partey's on the ball here, but the amount of space that he has got between, you've got Kane here, you've got Sarr, you've got Højbjerg, you've got Son. Partey was in acres of space to just go, yeah, I'll pop it into that area there, that'll be nice. I'll just find Saka, that'll be no problem at all. No one's pressing me, I've got all the time and space in the world to play that pass. Were you going to add something there, Graham, sorry?
No, I was just going to add that if you notice that, if you take it back to where you were,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, you notice now how the Kulusevski and Song have come in. Have come in now more narrow. So when Partey's got the ball, there is now. It's still he makes a brilliant pass, for example, for the second goal. But Saka now we've got him out wide, and he's 1-on-1 now with Sessegnon.
Yeah, he is, and it's just the amount of time and space they gave him. Let's just slow this down a second. To just go, yeah, cool, I'll just spray that pass. And, you know, by this point, the back five running back and the two holding midfielders, Saka gets a touch on the ball, goes round then the sort of outside to the byline, puts into the box, and it comes off Lloris and in. But it's the amount of time and space they gave Thomas Partey that I couldn't believe. And then clearly they try and learn from that a little bit, because they think, okay, well, we can't allow him to just pick his head up and pass. But they were still too slow. And again, the best way to show it is probably, oh, sorry. Here's me now, not knowing how to use everything. All right, here we go. It's a similar thing here with the goal. So Thomas Partey, again, let's slow this down a sec. Apologies, everyone. Thomas Partey. Now, the key thing here is Gabriel, Saliba and White have all dropped into a back three to win that first header. That's how often they've dropped into a back three and covered. And there's such amazing balance in that three. I love it. Saliba wins his header and it falls to Partey, who takes a great touch and then plays it. That touch to Saka is absolutely superb. At this point, he gives it to Saka. Saka's running inside. Odegaard with a touch, and then the hit. It's not my best recreation, but once again, the bit I really want to show is I think around here, when he gets the ball, you know, Sarr's coming in late. Højbjerg's never really close enough. Sessegnon thinks, well, I might go out, but they're all too slow, and he's sharper than them, and he gets the ball out to Saka. They were just so much better. Arsenal in terms of showing an intensity to close down the opposition. But I just couldn't believe that even if you strip down everything else, the back five, how defensive they were, two holding midfielders, the fact that Tottenham did nothing to try and stop Thomas Partey, I think is unbelievable.
We came out of the blocks really fast.
Yeah.
And I think that the quality of our football in that first half was as good as I've seen this season in any of our fine performances. This game very much played out, James, the way I thought it would first half, in that Tottenham start slow, Arsenal start quickly. We were moving the ball really quickly through the thirds, taking advantage of playing around their double pivot. And ultimately, I think that's how we were having success in getting our wide players in good positions. I thought Saka was absolutely real quality in that first half. And he terrorised their left wing back in that. He had him on toast in that first half. So, ultimately, I think the game played out because we came out and wanted to play our football. And this is what I like to see. We talked about it off air. The way we're going, approaching away games now, at the likes of Man United, Chelsea and Tottenham, we're not afraid to play our football, are we?
No, I completely agree. 66 passes.
Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey here, 66 of his passes completed against Tottenham. 21 final third passes of his 24 attempted, with 4 long balls out of 5 as well. I'm loving this new graphic, by the way, everyone. 87 touches, 8 ball recoveries. These are all your stats, by the way. Must give you credit. 4 ground drills, 2 blocks, 2 tackles, 1 shot did hit the post, and he created a chance as well, which I imagine was that goal. And in the 22-23 Premier League season, 15 appearances with 13 wins, 2 draws against Newcastle and against Southampton.
Would you say he's our most key player in this 11?
When he's playing like this, he's unbelievable. Whenever we go and we get a big win, we've won at the Bridge a few times, we won at Old Trafford, we've now won here. Whenever we've had big performances, Man City at home, even though we lost, but 2-1, but we played really well. Liverpool, he is always at the heart of any big performance we have against big sides, and I think he's absolutely crucial.
Where do you see him in line of where we are in the Premier League with these other quality holding midfielders like your Casemiros and the Fabinos?
There's bias, of course there's bias. I think Rodri edges it, but I think in a Man City side maybe as well, the level around him. I think Rodri is unbelievable, and I think Partey's not far off. Yeah. I think he's a great blend of Casemiro and Rodri. Yeah. He's brilliant on the ball like Rodri, but he's defensive, and he's got that steel that Casemiro has. I think Casemiro better defensively, Rodri better on the ball, but Partey a better all-rounder.
That's a fair assessment. I think what I love about him, playing that sort of like single pivot role, he's got so much ground to cover. I know Arteta sets the team really up well to help him, but and also the way he threads the balls through the lines. Now that shot on Sunday, that post was still shaking afterwards.
Yeah.
He scored 2 outstanding goals this year. When he scores a goal, it's a worldie, isn't it? And he did all but do that again yesterday. I think he's been immense this season. He's such a key part of this team. I'd hate to think what would happen if we lost him.
He's a threat from set piece as well, actually. I think he had one header early in the game. Let's have a little look at Aaron Ramsdale, because it'd be wrong not to talk about him. And of course, just before we do, Martin Odegaard, unbelievable captain's performance. Zinchenko, and we talked about what he did in midfield, absolutely superb. And we could talk about so many players. We really, really could. But we just thought Partey for his involvement in the goals and Aaron Ramsdale for what he had to do. Again, Spurs had 10 shots off target, but 7 of them were on target, and he saved all 7 of those. Not one of them made it past him. He conceded 0 goals. He had 36 touches. Again, this whole XG faced 2.4, some saying 1.9, but the point is he faced a high XG. Tottenham did have chance, and this is the one thing. I've seen a lot of people say that, Arsenal were unbelievable all game. I thought they were unbelievable the first half. I thought second half Tottenham had their chances, but Arsenal showed enough steel and were resolute and kept their heads and got through that and showed another side. But Ramsdale was called upon a few times. 6 close range saves, 4 long balls completed, 2 high claims, 2 clearances. That's 9 clean sheets for the season with 42 saves in the Premier League altogether.
Yeah, he made the big save at the end of the first half. First of all, he made a key save at 1-0 when he makes the save when Sessegnon plays in Song. That could easily have been 1-1 and that could have changed the game. That was a big save. Saves from Kane at the end of the first half, saves from Kane at the start of the second half, save from Richarlison as well. But I thought, overall, I've said to you when we come up here today, and also in the introduction, we protected Ramsdale really well this season, But yesterday he was called upon to make saves, and he delivered, and that's the key. When you're not in games much, or you haven't got so much work to do, then all of a sudden you're called upon to do work. When you do it, it shows what a good goalkeeper he is. And also his kicking yesterday out was contrast. It was a tale of 2 goalkeepers for me yesterday. Lloris really poor with his kicking, made an error. Ramsdale faultless with his kicking, his handling, and he made the saves. And big compliment yesterday. He was my man of the match for us. Even though we dominated the game, we're saying he was man of the match.
I edge it to Odegaard, but I agree.
Well, I think Odegaard, we're going to talk about Odegaard very quickly, and I will touch on it really quickly, James.
Yeah.
His goal contributions this season in 23 games are more than he had in the whole of last season. I think it's 13 now. It's 8 goals and 5 assists. I think it's something like that.
Something like that,
yeah.
13 goals.
This was before the game yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Well, it might be. No, 17 games, yeah. 17 games, 13 goals, 8 goals, 5 assists. There's our front 4 for you, and the goals are being spread around the team. Yeah,
6 and 7 assists, goals and assists for Bukayo Saka, 5 and 6 for Gabriel Jesus. We're going to have to get Eddie Nketiah's name up there in a bit as well. Yeah. He's absolutely doing his bit. 8 and 5 for Odegaard, and Martinelli with 7 and 2. You're right, they're all contributing, and you've got players like Partey, you've got Xhaka who are showing a goal threat as well.
When Gabriel Jesus got injured at the World Cup and Nketiah was coming, a lot of people had reservations where he could do what Jesus does. And you made a great point on your fan cam yesterday. Jesus doesn't score that many goals for us, but we laud him for what he brings to the team in all other areas of the pitch. He makes other players look better. Nketiah yesterday worked his socks off, and his performance deserved the goal.
Yeah, it did.
And I thought he was a bit unlucky. He got criticised for that heavy touch when Lloris made the save at the start of the second half. But I thought the pass from Xhaka was difficult for him to take.
It's a kind of loopy cross one, you've got to sort of set it for yourself.
But I think Nketiah has come in, and I can't praise him enough, because I didn't think he's bulked up, hasn't he? We've seen that. But his performances in these games, 4 goals in 4 before yesterday, I think he's been absolutely immense this season since he's come in.
I think so too, agreed. All right, should we go into the roundup stats? As I get the 2 teams back on the screen for us, just to remind, there we go. Let's just
the roundup stats then, James, for this week is Arsenal ended a run of 8 games without a victory away from home at Spurs in the Premier League. Arsenal completed a league double over Spurs for the first time in 9 years. Arsenal have now kept 7 clean sheets away from home in the Premier League this season. That's 1 more in the whole of last season. Aaron Ramsdale, we've talked about, made 7 key saves from 7 shots on target. He faced an XG of 2.41, which is really impressive. He was the first Arsenal keeper to keep a clean sheet since, who do you think, in March 2014?
Chesney.
Chesney, correct. Well done. You're always on your game, you are, mate. Odegaard has already surpassed last season's tallies in both goal involvements and goals. The point I was trying to make so far this season, it's 23 appearances in all competitions, 8 goals, 5 assists. Last year, 40 appearances, 7 goals and 5 assists.
There you go, beat already.
And finally, Arsenal have now won 47 points from 18 Premier League games this season, the most points they've won at this stage in their league history. And I'll just end by saying Tottenham get battered everywhere they go, and North London is red.
Absolutely, it is red, and it will forever be red. Arsenal fans, hope you've enjoyed this. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Robbie and I were chatting the other day as well. He thinks that we should get a sort of question and answer section in this show as well. So we'll absolutely be bringing that in soon. Let us know your questions in the comment section. But also, I want to get maybe a hashtag going on Twitter or something. But we do see your tweets. Any questions you want to ask, anything you want answered going into the following shows, maybe even say for after the Man United game, we'll take those questions and answers and do them in this as well. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Like we said, and Graham I think illustrated it brilliantly in this show, it's about the shape and it's about the use of the players. Yeah. It's 11 men each, but how do you use them? Where do you position them? What's the intensity with and without the ball, but also what matchups are you giving? Because we've given Sarr and Højbjerg a hard time, right? But at the same time, did Conte give them the best opportunity when you look at the way Arsenal approached the game? And I think these are the big questions. And as brilliant as Arsenal were, if you're a Tottenham fan watching this, I don't know why it would be, I think you've got to be asking questions of your manager for that. But of course, I want to explore that a little bit more on DR Sports Talking Tactics. So head over there. If it's out yet, don't know when you're watching this, it'll be out quite quickly. But do look out for that show. Me and Matisse will be breaking that down. Graham, it's such a pleasure having you back. Absolutely fantastic. Go check out all the AFTV merch in the link in the description below. And yeah, guys, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Well done, Arsenal. We keep marching on. Let's go. Come on, Arsenal.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.